Stop scrolling, my child. Listen to me carefully, because heaven itself has gone silent over what I am about to reveal to you. There is a reason your life has never felt ordinary. There is a reason you survived battles that should have destroyed you long ago. Hell saw something in you before you ever saw it yourself. Before mountains were formed, before oceans touched the earth, before light entered the darkness, I already chose you. You are not random. You are not forgotten. You are not like everyone else around you. I place something inside your spirit that nobody else on this earth can carry the way you can. That is why the enemy fought you so hard. That is why confusion followed you. That is why rejection surrounded you. Hell tried to bury your calling before it could awaken. But hear me now. I have just torn open the spirit realm over your life. I am releasing what carries your name, and if you walk away from this message too soon, you may miss the very moment heaven has prepared for you since the beginning of time. My beloved child, I need your full attention now, because this is not an ordinary message. This is not coincidence. This is not luck. This moment was arranged before you ever entered this earth. I brought you here because your spirit is standing at the edge of awakening, and heaven refuses to let you remain asleep any longer. You have spent years questioning yourself, questioning your purpose, questioning why your life has felt so heavy while others around you seem to move through life more easily. You looked at your pain and thought it meant you were abandoned. You looked at your battles and thought they meant you were forgotten. But my child, what you called punishment was actually proof. Proof that your life carried something hell could not ignore. Do you realize how early the attacks started against you? Long before you understood spiritual things, long before you understood purpose, long before you recognized my voice, darkness was already trying to silence your spirit. There were moments in your childhood where you felt rejected without fully understanding why. There were seasons where loneliness wrapped around your heart so deeply that you thought something was wrong with you. You tried to fit in with people around you, but deep inside, you always felt different. You carried emotions others could not understand. You noticed things others ignore. You felt burdens others could not feel. Even when you smiled outwardly, your spirit carried questions nobody around you could answer. My child, the difference was never weakness. It was the mark of destiny upon your life. Hell attacks what heaven values. The pressure surrounding your life was never random. The enemy does not waste energy fighting empty people. The warfare around your mind, your confidence, your identity, your peace, and your purpose came because something eternal was hidden inside you. Even when you did not fully recognize your calling, darkness recognized it. Even when you doubted yourself, the spirit realm knew your name. That is why certain seasons nearly crushed you emotionally. That is why betrayal followed you. That is why people misunderstood you repeatedly. That is why your heart felt exhausted from carrying pain nobody else seemed to notice. Hell was trying to convince you that your suffering meant you had no purpose, when in reality your survival itself was proof that my hand never left you. You asked me many times, why is my life so difficult? You compared your journey to people around you. You wondered why you always seemed to fight harder battles, why doors closed unexpectedly, why relationships broke your heart so deeply, why your mind felt overwhelmed with fear and confusion, why disappointment followed you through seasons where you prayed the hardest. My beloved child, ordinary callings do other type of extraordinary work. The enemy only fights what threatens his kingdom. And your life has always carried a threat against darkness because I planted my purpose inside you before this world began. I need you to understand something very important right now. Your pain did not cancel your purpose. Your failures did not remove your calling. Your confusion did not erase what I spoke over your life before creation itself. You kept thinking your broken seasons disqualified you, but I was still working inside every painful chapter. Even when you almost gave up completely, my hand remained upon your spirit. There were nights you cried alone where heaven stood beside you silently holding your heart together. There were moments when depression whispered lies into your mind, but I kept your soul alive even when you no longer recognized your own strength. There were situations where destruction should have consumed you, but somehow you survived anyway. That survival was not luck. That survival was me protecting what carries your name in the spirit realm. My child, you keep focusing on what tried to bear you while heaven keeps focusing on what survived inside you. And what survived inside you is sacred. You are not still alive by accident. You are not still standing because of human strength alone. There is a reason your spirit refused to die even after everything you endured. I preserved you because your assignment is not finished. I protected you because your calling still remains active in heaven. I carried you through battles that should have destroyed your mind because what I placed inside you cannot be replaced by anyone else on this earth. Nobody else can carry your exact assignment. Nobody else can release what I planted inside your spirit before the world began. That is why comparison has wounded you for so long. The enemy kept trying to make you feel small by comparing your life to others around you. He wanted you distracted by their journeys so you would never recognize your own. But my beloved child, you were never designed to walk their path. I created you intentionally, uniquely, specifically. Your voice carries something different. Your spirit carries something different. Your journey carries something different. Type Amen. I believe something powerful is on the way if you're expecting a miracle. Stop measuring your life against people who were never assigned your purpose. You spent years trying to become accepted by environments that could never fully understand who you are. You kept shrinking your spirit to remain comfortable around people who were intimidated by your depth. You silenced parts of yourself because rejection taught you to hide. But my child, the season of hiding is ending now. I did not preserve your life so you could spend the rest of your years doubting yourself. I did not pull you through every attack just for you to live trapped inside fear and insecurity. Heaven is calling your spirit forward now. There are things awakening inside you that you cannot fully explain yet. That restlessness you feel is not random. That hunger for deeper purpose is not random. That feeling that something bigger is waiting for you is not your imagination. Your spirit is beginning to recognize what heaven already announced long ago. The chains around your identity are weakening. The confusion around your purpose is beginning to break. The fear that kept you silent is losing authority over your life. Hell fought hard to keep this moment from happening. The enemy hoped your pain would make you quit before your spirit fully awakened. He hoped betrayal would harden your heart permanently. He hoped exhaustion would make you settle for survival instead of purpose. He hoped rejection would convince you that you were ordinary. But he failed. You are still here. And because you are still here, heaven is moving again over your life. My child, there are doors in the spirit realm beginning to open right now. Things that felt blocked for years are beginning to shift. Clarity is coming. Strength is returning. Confidence is awakening. The very areas where you once felt broken are becoming the places where my power will shine strongest through your life. What once embarrassed you will become part of your testimony. What once wounded you will become part of your authority. I know you still carry questions. I know part of you still struggles to believe these words fully because disappointment trained your heart to expect less. But listen carefully now. Your life is not ending in confusion. Your story is not ending in weakness. Your calling is not buried beneath your pain. I am pulling purpose out of every broken place. I am restoring what fear tried to steal. I am rebuilding what rejection damaged. And I am revealing the identity hell tried desperately to keep hidden from you. The spirit realm recognizes your assignment even when people around you do not. That is why the season feels different. That is why your soul feels stirred. That is why old distractions no longer satisfy your spirit. I am awakening you to the truth of who you are. And once your spirit fully awakens, nothing around you will remain the same again. My beloved child, heaven is not shocked that you survive. Heaven expected it because I'd already wrote your story before time began. But hell is stunned because after everything sent against you, you are still standing, still breathing, still searching for me, still carrying purpose, still carrying destiny, and still carrying the assignment nobody else can complete except you. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness in your life and devotion to God. And if you want, you can donate to us, given link in description or pinned comment to show your support. My beloved child, before you ever opened your eyes on this earth, before your lungs breathed their first breath, before your name was spoken by human lips, I already knew you completely. I did not discover you after you were born. I did not randomly decide one day to care about your life. Long before mountains stood upon the earth, long before oceans filled the deep places of creation, long before the stars scattered across the heavens, I already chose you. Your existence was not an accident. Your spirit was not formed by chance. I thought about you before time itself existed. I planned your life before the world understood what life even was. You keep looking at yourself through the eyes of pain, failure, fear, rejection, and confusion, but I need you to see yourself the way heaven sees you. You are not ordinary. You were intentionally created by my hands. Every detail about your spirit carries purpose. Every battle you survived carries meaning. Every season you endured carries preparation connected to the assignment I placed over your life before creation itself began. That is why your spirit has always felt different from the people around you. You tried many times to become comfortable inside ordinary environments, but something inside you always remained restless. You smiled with people while secretly feeling disconnected. You stood in crowded rooms while carrying loneliness nobody else could fully understand. You attempted to fit into places where your soul quietly felt trapped. And over time, you began questioning yourself. You wondered if something was wrong with you because you never seemed fully satisfied by the things that satisfied everyone else around you. My child, nothing is wrong with you. Your spirit remembers what your human mind keeps forgetting. Deep inside yourself, your soul knows you were created for more than survival. Your spirit recognizes that this earth is not your true beginning. That strange hunger inside you, that longing for something deeper, that constant feeling that your life carries greater meaning, all of it exists because I placed eternity inside your spirit before you ever entered this world. You were chosen before the world was formed. I need those words to settle deeply into your heart now because the enemy spent years trying to make you feel unwanted. Hell attacked your identity repeatedly because if you ever fully recognized who you truly are, darkness knew you would become dangerous against its kingdom. That is why rejection followed you so early. That is why betrayal wounded you deeply. That is why insecurity wrapped around your mind. The enemy hoped pain would disconnect you from your identity before your purpose awakened fully. But my beloved child, your identity was never created by human opinion. People did not decide your worth. Rejection did not cancel your calling. Your mistakes did not erase your assignment. I spoke over your life before any human voice ever touched your ears. And what I speak cannot be destroyed by the failures, opinions, or attacks of this world. You keep remembering the moments when people overlooked you, abandoned you, underestimated you, and misunderstood you. But heaven remembers something greater. Heaven remembers the moment I chose you. Heaven remembers the purpose I planted inside you before darkness ever tried to bury it. Heaven remembers the authority hidden within your spirit even while you struggled to recognize it yourself. My child, I formed you carefully. I designed your personality intentionally. Even the parts of yourself you struggle to understand carry purpose. The sensitivity you once saw as weakness carries spiritual depth. The compassion you carry carries healing. The pain you survived carries wisdom. The battles you endured built strength inside your soul that cannot be learned through comfort alone. Nothing about your journey has been wasted. You often compare your life to others around you because comparison became one of the enemy's favorite weapons against your confidence. You looked at their progress, their success, their relationships, their opportunities, and quietly wondered why your own road seemed harder. But my beloved child, comparison only blinds you from recognizing your own assignment. You were never created to become a copy of someone else's purpose. I did not create you to imitate another spirit. I created you uniquely because the assignment attached to your life requires something specific that only you carry. Nobody else can walk this path exactly the way you can. There are gifts hidden inside your spirit that the world has not fully seen yet. There is strength inside you that even you have not fully recognized. There is wisdom growing through your suffering that will one day help others survive their own battles. There is a voice forming inside you that carries authority born from pain, healing, endurance, and survival. But before you can fully step into that calling, you must stop seeing yourself through broken vision. The enemy worked hard to damage your confidence because insecure people often hide from their calling. Fear keeps purpose silent. Shame keeps gifts buried. Rejection makes people shrink themselves until they forget who they truly are. And for years, hell hoped you would remain trapped inside that cycle forever. But I am awakening your spirit now. You are not weak because you struggle. You are not disqualified because you fell. You are not forgotten because your journey hath been painful. Some of the strongest souls carry the deepest scars because strength is often built through survival. You survived seasons that should have destroyed your mind completely. You survived emotional battles that nobody around you fully understood. You survived disappointments that nearly convinced you to stop dreaming altogether. Yet somehow, even after everything, your spirit still searches for me. That is because what I placed inside you cannot fully die. My beloved child, there were moments where you believed you had lost yourself completely. You questioned your purpose. You questioned your future. You questioned whether your life carried any meaning at all. But even in those dark seasons, I never removed my hand from you. While you were crying in silence, I was preserving your spirit. While confusion clouded your thoughts, I was protecting your destiny quietly behind the scenes. While you felt abandoned, heaven still surrounded your life. You think your story began with pain, but your story actually began with purpose. Long before hell attacked your confidence, heaven already approved your assignment. Long before fear entered your mind, I've already declared your worth. Long before rejection wounded your heart, I already called you chosen. Nothing that enemy attempted against you changed what I decided about your life before creation itself began. I know part of you still struggles to believe that fully because your experiences taught you to doubt yourself. Pain trained you to expect disappointment. Betrayal trained you to hide emotionally. Failure trained you to question your value. But my child, human experiences do not define eternal truth. Your identity is not built upon what people did to you. Your identity is built upon what I spoke over you before the world began. You belong to me. And because you belong to me, your life carries weight in the spirit realm. That is why darkness resisted you so strongly. The enemy attacks purpose long before purpose fully awakens. Hell knew your life carried something significant even during seasons when you could barely recognize it yourself. The battles around your mind, your emotions, your confidence, and your peace were never random. The pressure came because your future threatens darkness in ways you still do not fully understand. But hear me clearly now. The same heaven that chose you before creation is still protecting you now. Pam and amen. I'm ready for fresh anointing if you're expecting a new outpouring from heaven. You are not walking through life alone. You are not surviving by human strength alone. I am still guiding your steps even when confusion surrounds you. I am still preserving your spirit even when exhaustion tries to overwhelm you. I am still opening doors even while old seasons collapse around you. Your life is still moving toward purpose even when the process feels painful. My beloved child, stop treating yourself like someone ordinary when heaven never saw you that way. Stop minimizing your calling because fear made you insecure. Stop apologizing for the depth, sensitivity, hunger, and uniqueness I intentionally placed inside your spirit. You were never created to blend into darkness comfortably. You were created to carry light. And now heaven is beginning to awaken what has been hidden inside you all along. That stirring you feel deep inside yourself is not imagination. That pull toward something greater is not random emotion. Your spirit is beginning to remember who you truly are. The chains around your identity are weakening. The lies around your worth are breaking. The confusion around your purpose is slowly lifting. I am calling your true identity forward now because the season of hiding is ending. You were chosen before the world was formed. And my child, nothing hell attempted against you was powerful enough to change that truth. My beloved child, there is something you must finally understand about your life because for too long you blamed yourself for battles you never fully understood. The warfare against your life started early because hell saw your purpose before you ever recognized it yourself. The enemy attacked your confidence before your calling awakened. He fought your mind before your gifts fully emerged. He targeted your identity before you understood who you truly were. And for years, you mistook spiritual warfare for personal failure. You kept asking yourself, why has life always felt so heavy for me? You watched others move through life while you carried emotional storms nobody around you seemed to notice. Even from a young age, you felt different. There were moments when rejection wounded you deeply without explanation. You entered rooms where you never fully felt accepted. You experienced loneliness that words could not fully describe. You smiled outwardly while secretly wondering why your soul always felt like it was fighting invisible battles. My child, darkness attacks what threatens it. The enemy does not waste energy destroying empty vessels. Hell recognized the potential hidden inside your spirit long before you recognized it yourself. That is why confusion surrounded your identity early. That is why fear attached itself to your thoughts. That is why insecurity followed your steps. That is why painful situations seemed to repeat through different seasons of your life. The enemy hoped the weight of your battles would eventually convince you to abandon your purpose before you even discovered it. There were moments where your heart nearly gave up completely. Moments where disappointment became so heavy that you questioned whether your life truly carried meaning at all. You prayed while secretly feeling unheard. You fought silently while others around you remained unaware of how exhausted your spirit had become. There were nights when tears fell from your eyes while you wondered if anyone truly understood the depth of your pain. I understood. I was there during every silent breakdown. I was there during every moment you felt emotionally abandoned. I was there when rejection pierced your confidence. I was there when betrayal broke your trust. I was there when darkness whispered lies into your mind telling you that you would never become anything meaningful. Even when you could not feel my presence clearly, heaven never stepped away from your life. My child, the enemy wanted your pain to shape your identity permanently. He wanted you to believe you were broken beyond repair. He wanted your wounds to become chains around your future. He hoped fear would silence your voice before it ever carried authority. He hoped disappointment would make you stop believing in purpose altogether. But hell underestimated the strength I placed inside your spirit. You survived things that should have completely destroyed you emotionally. There were battles where your mind felt exhausted beyond words, yet something inside you refused to fully die. There were seasons where loneliness wrapped around your soul so tightly that you questioned your value, yet somehow your spirit still searched for me. There were disappointments that nearly buried your hope, yet deep inside yourself, something kept whispering that your story was not over. That whisper was be preserving your purpose. My beloved child, I know you still carry scars from many of those seasons. Some wounds remain hidden beneath your smile. Some memories still trigger pain inside your heart. Some betrayals still echo through your thoughts when you least expect them. But hear me carefully now. Your scars are not proof that you lost the battle. Your scars are proof that you survived it. The enemy tried repeatedly to bury what heaven placed inside you, but every attack failed to destroy your destiny completely. That is why you are still here listening to these words right now. That is why your spirit still responds when I speak to you. That is why something inside your soul still longs for healing, purpose, peace, and truth even after all the pain you endured. Because what I placed inside you belongs to heaven, not darkness. My child, some people around you could not understand your struggles because they could not see the warfare attached to your assignment. They only saw your reactions without understanding the battles behind them. They saw your exhaustion without understanding the spiritual pressure surrounding your life. They saw your moments of weakness without recognizing how long you had already been fighting silently. But heaven saw everything. Heaven saw the nights where anxiety nearly consumed your mind. Heaven saw the moments where depression whispered hopelessness into your spirit. Heaven saw the times you felt emotionally isolated even while surrounded by people. Heaven saw every internal battle nobody else recognized. And through all of it, I kept preserving your life because your assignment still remained active in the spirit realm. Do you realize how many times darkness thought it had finally defeated you? There were moments where the enemy celebrated too early. Moments where hell believed your pain would finally silence your purpose forever. But every time destruction tried to consume your spirit completely, I intervened. Every time fear tried to bury your future, my hand protected what belonged to me. Every time hopelessness whispered that your story was over, heaven responded with mercy you could not yet fully see. You often wonder why your journey has felt more difficult than others around you. But my beloved child, different assignments carry different levels of warfare. The enemy fights hardest against people carrying dangerous purpose. The pressure surrounding your life was not proof that you were forgotten. It was proof that your spirit carried something heaven intends to use powerfully. That is why ordinary things never fully satisfied your soul. That is why your spirit always searched for deeper meaning. That is why temporary distractions never healed the emptiness inside you completely. Your spirit remembers heaven even while living on earth. And because of that, darkness constantly tried to distract, discourage, wound, confuse, and exhaust you before your identity fully awakened. The enemy understood something you are only beginning to understand now. Once you recognize who you truly are, chains begin breaking. Once your spirit fully awakens, fear loses authority over your life. Once you stop viewing yourself through rejection and begin seeing yourself through heaven's eyes, everything changes. That is why hell fought your confidence so aggressively. My child, the enemy feared the version of you that fully trusts me. He feared the version of you that stops hiding. He feared the version of you that no longer apologizes for your calling. He feared the version of you that understands your authority, your identity, your gifts, and your purpose. Because once your spirit fully rises, darkness loses influence it held over you for years. I know there were seasons where you blamed yourself for your struggles. You questioned your worth because life felt harder than expected. You thought maybe your pain meant you lacked faith, lacked strength, lacked value, or lacked purpose. But my beloved child, your struggles were never evidence that you were abandoned. Your struggles were evidence that heaven was preserving something hell desperately wanted destroyed. And despite every attack, you survived. You are still breathing. You are still standing. You are still searching for truth. You are still listening for my voice. That alone is proof that darkness failed to stop what I planned for your life before creation itself began. Now hear me carefully because this part matters deeply. Do not allow your past battles to convince you that your future is limited. The warfare around your life was never meant to define you permanently. It was preparation. It was resistance against purpose. It was hell reacting to the threat your destiny carries. But the season where fear controls your identity is ending now. I am exposing the lies that wounded your confidence. I am healing the areas where rejection distorted your self-worth. I am rebuilding the parts of your spirit that trauma tried to silence. I am awakening the authority hidden beneath your pain. And slowly, your spirit is beginning to recognize the truth heaven always knew about you. You were chosen. You were protected. You were preserved. And no matter how hard darkness fought against your life, hell never had the power to erase what I'd already declared about you before the world began. My beloved child, the enemy saw your purpose early and tried desperately to bury it. But heaven is now revealing openly what darkness could never destroy. Your story is not ending in defeat. Your pain is not the conclusion of your life. Your battles were not wasted. They were evidence that your spirit carries something powerful enough to threaten darkness itself. And now the very purpose hell feared is beginning to awaken inside you fully. Say amen. My heart is fully open to your will if you surrendered everything to God. My beloved child, stop for a moment and truly think about everything you have survived. There were seasons in your life where darkness expected you to completely fall apart. There were nights when the pressure on your mind became so heavy that even breathing felt exhausting. There were moments where heartbreak crushed your spirit so deeply that you wondered if you would ever feel whole again. There were battles you fought silently while smiling in front of everyone around you because nobody truly understood the weight your soul was carrying. And yet, you are still here. That alone should tell you something powerful about your life. You keep focusing on your weaknesses, your failures, your fears, and your scars, but heaven keeps focusing on your survival. The enemy expected certain attacks to permanently destroy you emotionally. Hell believed some betrayals would completely harden your heart. Darkness assumed certain disappointments would make you abandon your purpose forever. But despite every attempt to bury you, something inside your spirit refused to fully die. That something was me. My child, there were moments when you came closer to breaking than anyone around you ever realized. There were tears you hid from people because you grew tired of explaining your pain. There were thoughts inside your mind you never spoke aloud because you feared nobody would understand. There were seasons where loneliness wrapped around your heart so tightly that you questioned your worth completely. You kept trying to appear strong while silently fighting battles that drained your soul day after day. But heaven saw every hidden struggle. I saw the moments where anxiety stole your peace. I saw the nights where fear whispered lies into your thoughts until your mind felt exhausted. I saw the emotional wounds left by people who promised they would never hurt you. I saw the disappointment that entered your spirit when prayers seemed unanswered and doors kept closing around you. I saw how many times you secretly wondered if your life would ever change. And through all of it, I never abandoned you. Even during seasons where you felt spiritually numb, I remained beside you. Even during moments where confusion clouded your vision completely, my hand still rested over your life. You may not have always recognized my presence clearly, but my protection never left you. There were dangers I blocked that you never even noticed. There were breakdowns I prevented when your strength was nearly gone. There were moments where your spirit should have collapsed completely under the weight of everything you carried, yet somehow you continued moving forward. That was not human strength alone. My beloved child, the reason you survived is because your assignment still lives inside you. Darkness tried repeatedly to destroy your confidence, because the enemy understood something important. If you ever fully awakened to who you truly are, the impact of your life would become dangerous against his kingdom. So hell attacked your emotions. Hell attacked your identity. Hell attacked your peace. Hell attacked your home. The enemy wanted you emotionally exhausted because tired people often stop believing in their own purpose. But despite every battle, your spirit remained alive. Do you realize how many people would have completely given up after surviving what you survived? There were moments when your soul felt crushed beneath disappointment, rejection, betrayal, confusion, and exhaustion all at once. Yet even during those painful seasons, something inside you still searched for truth. Something inside you still longed for healing. Something inside you still hoped life carried greater meaning beyond the pain. That longing was proof that heaven never stopped fighting for you. Comment amen. I'm unshakable in my faith if you're standing strong on God's promises. And share this video.